What's up, y'all? I'm El Machine Record, and I'm coming at you with the Batteryman combo video. This is more of a video for someone who wants to learn Batteryman, or beginners, or even if you've been playing the deck for a while, you might actually notice something cool. Or I might give you a little tip or trick that you didn't know. I mean, I doubt it. I've only been playing the deck for about 3 months, but anyway, I'll get right to the video. Alright, the first thing I wanted to talk about was Batteryman 9-volt summon. Okay. The important thing about Book of Moon and compulsory evacuation device is they have multiple uses. They're almost kind of the same card in some aspects, in some respects. If you summon Batteryman 9-volt and your opponent effect resist, Fiendish chains it, breakthrough skills it, something like that, what you can do is you can chain it to Book of Moon. The Book of Moon will then be, if they don't have any response and you don't know have more responses either, the Book of Moon will activate first, flipping your card face down. Their effect revealer or breakthrough skill or Fiendish chain or whatever, they will then activate. They now have no face up target to negate. And then Chain Link 1 will be your monster that was successfully summoned, so you will then get his search. And this is an important thing about this deck, is sometimes it's really important to get his search for certain things, especially a charger that you know you can go off and win next turn. This is when Book of Moon becomes very, 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 very important. The same thing with Compulse. If you summon your 9-volt and they try to affect, negate it or whatever, you can Compulse your 9-volt. Your 9-volt will then go back to hand. Their effect either has no target, or breakthrough skill, whatever, has no target. And then your Batteryman 9-volt was successfully summoned, so it'll still get its effect. He was successfully summoned, his effect was activated, and it will resolve where it was activated. You will get the search. Okay, now, I just wanted to give you guys that little tip. That will save you from a lot of bull crap. Get your searches and help you win a lot better. I'll use those two cards for that a lot of the times. Sometimes I don't if I can, if I have my combos in hand or my plays in hand, but if I don't, it's all those fills that is there for that. The next thing I want to talk about is attacking into a set micro cell. A common turn 1 play, and honestly, for me, this is, if I'm going first, this is what I want to have in my hand. Because your opponent's not gonna know what you're playing, and especially like in this deck, this is why you don't want your opponent like shuffling the fucking deck like this, like, I can see your fucking cards. I know you're playing Batteryman, so I don't want to attack into your face down field cell, you know. And then they give the shit back to you, and they're like, well, if you set a card into its field cell, I'm gonna pop the motherfucker first. You know, this is why you don't want your opponents doing that. And if they are doing that shit, man, you know, call a judge. But man, you know, or tell them, man, I appreciate it if you don't look at my cards. And then after telling that shit to him, look at his fucking cards, you know. Anyway, I mean, that's just something that just really pisses me off when people do that. Man, just play fair. It's just a fucking game. Plus, it's more fun when you play fair. And it's no fun getting your ass whipped either because your opponent has an advantage on you, you know. But anyway, your opponent attacks into your set micro cell. You flip some micro cell. Stays on the field because it's destroyed, but it's technically still on the field because it has a flip effect. Just how Yu-Gi-Oh works. And then you get your 9-volt. 9-volt then activates, and then we're gonna pretend nothing's in your hand during these combos. or this combo right here. And then you get your charger. Your microcell will then die, and then you will get a draw from its effect. This guy's at 2,000. He only dies in your end phase, not your opponent's end phase, so he stays on the field. If your opponent can't get over it, you will then draw another card for your draw. So he basically replaced himself, plus he got you a +1. Which, microcell got you a +1, and then 9V got you a +2. So that's always good. Plus in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Is always good. Excuse me. And then on your turn, you'll draw a card. You now have tribute fodder for your charger that you just got. You got your charger now. With charger, you will special summon your 9V from deck. With 9V, you will search for fuel cell because you can be special summoned if you had 2 more Batteryman monsters on field. You will then special summon your Batteryman fuel cell, and that's your basic setup. This is always going to be your setup. Always, always, always. And the way this deck OTKs is, you run 3 of these because you will draw one, and then when you do draw one, you usually have this in hand, and then you can just summon another one, and then you have the OTK on board. Another combo that I like, sometimes even more than attacking into the microcell, is, and plus when you get the draw, it kind of helps you draw into your fuel cells too when they attack in this. But another one I kind of like is when they don't attack into the microcell. They set it, they don't have shit, or they just don't want to attack, or they just do whatever. You can flip summon your microcell. Microcell will special summon 9V. 9V will get your charger. With charger, you tribute your microcell for charger. Charger will then get you a special summon. Now, right here, depending on what you have in hand, yeah, you're gonna want to get your fuel cell. I'm sorry, and then you just go ahead and then you gotta reset up again. If you have this in hand, or you searched earlier in the game, or whatever happens, and you have your industrial strength, is what I like about this card. You can use fuel cell to tribute this to bounce a card. Then you can banish these two to special summon your industrial strength. And then you have it's like I don't know how much damage that is. That's 26. This guy gets 21, 24, 27, and this guy gets 21. That's 7,400 damage. And then another thing you can do too, if they got more problems on the field, you can pop this thing or bounce this thing to your, or tribute that thing for your graveyard or fuel cell. You've already used this effect. I'm sorry, you can't do that. Can't do that. Never mind. Forget it. I'm doing too much. Now onto Metal Reflect Slime. This originally what I was doing was I'd play Metal Reflect Slime, or I'd play Exodius, the Ultimate Forbidden Lord. I'd summon Exodius, put everything back, play Metal Reflect Slime, overlay for Super Dreadnought Relic Cannon, or whatever the fuck his name is, and I detach, and then I blow my opponent for 2,000, I attack for 3,000. That'd be 5,000 damage, or I'd blow him for, shoot him for 2,000 and sit on a 300 wall, or 3,000 wall. But I got to notice that wasn't real consistent, and my games weren't lasting that long anymore because I was playing my deck smarter, so I didn't need that card anymore. But I did keep this card in for the fact that it's a pseudo called the Haunted, which gives you more tribute fodder, and you just tribute it and you just do your setup. Another card that's really good is if you open up with this, and if you don't open it with this and this, it's really good, but you want to save that play. You usually can take a couple of hits of damage before you really want to go into it. You really want to get your other pieces before you want to let your opponent set up and then take off with that. If you open up with one of this two and trap stun, you set your trap stun first, take your hits of damage, and then you want to play trap stun, and then you want to take off and push for your maximal damage. Especially if you got this, and Vanity Vanity's Emptiness in your hand, that's game right there. That's like automatic game. Because what you do is you trap stun, you Monarch Stormforth, tribute their monster, you bring out this, your setup, attack, do whatever. At the end you bounce, and then you play Vanity's Emptiness, and they're completely locked out. Your next turn, they don't have nothing to get over that, so they don't have anything higher. You just push in, and just push the rest of the damage in, which is really good. Another thing too is if you have double call, double call is amazing. Because you can set 2 calls, you play 1 call the Haunted on your opponent's turn. I'm sorry, I got everything in the way here. Play call the Haunted on your opponent's turn. Let's say you play this one. You summon your Charger. You get your, your Batteryman 9-volt from the graveyard. You get your Charger. You gotta have to do 9-volt in the grave to do this effect. And then it's your turn. You then play the other call to call back your other 9-volt. Which this shouldn't be too hard to get in the graveyard, and it shouldn't be too hard to draw into them. I mean, it's going to be about 40% that you get 2 calls in the first 5 hand, or even 4 or 5 hands, I say. But you will draw in 2 calls, or you draw in a call very often. And then with that, you search Fuel Cell. You will tribute the 1 fuel cell for your Charger. You will then special a fuel cell from your deck. And then you will special summon the fuel cell from your hand. And now you have Charger, 9-volt, and 2 fuel cells. And then from there you can go for the game, or you can bounce something, or you can go for Gauntlet Launcher, or you can bounce something first, then go for Gauntlet Launcher and hit 2 more, or you can go for another thing I like to do is if I have Vanity's Emptiness in my hand and I have this on board, which happens a lot. This setup too actually happens a lot, and what you can do is you can attack or whatever. At the end, you can bounce their spell trap, or you can bounce it first, whatever you want to do, whatever. Attack, and then you can overlay for Photon Strike Bouncer, and then set your Vanity's Emptiness, or if you already have it set, you have it set. And then next turn, you have your Vanities to completely shut down your opponent. But what I like to do is I like them to special summon whatever they want to do, or summon whatever they want to do. That way when they use the effect, I can negate it. And then if they have more plays, then my last resort is Vanity's Emptiness. But I mean, all of this is pretty much common sense. I mean, what I did whenever I first picked up the deck, I literally just like sat here and just like shuffled my deck. I made a whole bunch of proxies. Made the deck. The deck was horrible. It had like 7 traps, a ton of spells. I was playing like Forbidden Lands and Duality. I mean, Palm Duality is not bad. It's just bad to draw late game. I hate drawing late game. I was actually the Regeki and the Industrial Strength. I might put into Duality for that and test it out again. It's just I don't like. Also, like if I open up Microcell, I don't like my opponent seeing that I'm playing Batteryman and then set a Microcell. I mean, especially in late rounds, you're gonna be playing good people, and they should know what Batteryman do. But when I first played the deck, this is basically just what I did. I shuffled my deck a bunch of times, and I just drew hands. I was just like, I drew my starting hand. I was like, okay, what would I do from here? Basically just playing Phantom Hands, and I didn't have none of this crap, and it was way different. But on this deck, you can see there's more of a defensive strategy, because you can summon your 9-volt, I'm sorry, that's still on the field. Your 9-volt would insert your micro cell. And the micro cell would go in your hand. You're going to have to wait a few turns in order to play it. I mean, there you go. There's your hand right there. And then you can set one and let it get MST'd. But yeah, you can chain it. Or you can just set 3. And hopefully it hit this. If not, they're going to have the trap stun. But I mean, I wouldn't set the trap stun yet because you're going to want to go off whenever you set this thing and try to go off the next turn. And I also wouldn't set that. Also, if it was my first turn, I wouldn't recommend setting compulse either, because you're not going to take that much damage. I don't think your opponent's going to OTK, and if they do, you a lesson learned, you know what I mean? So then we got our next turn. We'll shuffle our deck a little bit. Alright, I think that's good. We draw, we get our draw. Okay, now it's basically this is what we want. We got our combo. We have trap stun. We have MST for vanities if they shut this off with wiretap or something. Fucking go ahead and set the compulse. Go ahead and set the breakthrough. We're not gonna attack anything like malevolent catastrophe, and we're not playing no dragon, no wing beat, a giant dragon, or nothing like that. So we're good to go. Your opponent goes, they attack into it like a dumbass. They attacked into it. Plus we got our Veiler in hand. We can stop searches and stuff like that. So we stop searches. They attacked into this. We can summon our 9-volt, whatever it is. We'll summon our 9-volt. 9-volt gets its search. We'll search our charger. Microcell dies. Now remember, we can still protect our charger or our 9-volt because we have our traps back. So we get our microcell draw, which is another trap stun. Okay, say we protected our monster with this or whatever. Actually, I probably wouldn't have used the Veiler earlier. If they would have activated effect, I would have probably activated the breakthrough skill, just because they had trap stun or something like that. But I kept that in my hand, and then we'll draw for our turn. We got this. Okay. Now we immediately flip trap stun. If they don't have anything, then they're fucked. That's game over. We'll then tribute our 9-volt for charger. And then we'll do 9-volt for fuel cell. We'll special on fuel cell, and there you go. You got your setup. It's just like that. It's that simple. This will go away. We can then set another MST if we wanted to, and our trap stun if we wanted to. Then at the end of the turn, on one of their traps that they had, or during our main phase 2, one of the traps that they have frozen, we can use fuel cells effect to tribute this to bounce one of their traps, so they'll have to reset it, and then they can go ahead and go. And then depending on what they do, you know, they could get over this, and if they do, I mean, I doubt it. And then if even if they did something that they didn't do anything, we have MSTs to 1-for-1 cards, and we have trap stun for our next turn, and then we have another trap stun, and it should be game from there because they should be wasting a lot of resources in order to try to gain advantage, and we had negation and things like that. But that's just, you know, it's just this deck's fun to play Phantom Hands 2 with because there's so many plays you can do, and you can pretend like you can say you know, what if my opponent had a window up right now? You know, what can I do against a window? Or you know, you could sit down and write like 1 on a die. My opponent has window. Write down for 2. My opponent has Vanity's Emptiness. You know, for 3, my opponent has Construct. For 4, my opponent has a Dante and a Wing Blast. Or you know, or you can roll 2 dice. So 1 for whatever traps. Each number corresponds with a certain trap, and a monster. Each the other die corresponds to a different monster, and you can do this for certain decks that you play against. Or just roll 2 die and just make whatever scenario you want to play with. But that's what I do whenever I'm first learning the deck, and that's what I do before I play any duels. I just play with a bunch of hands. I do the die roll thing. Sometimes I'll get another deck that I have, a fun deck that I have put together or something like that, and I'll just play against it. And it's really good playing against yourself too, because you know that your opponent has certain things set, and it makes you more aware of what's being set and what could be possibly played against you. Because, like, say if you know your opponent has a torrential set, then you're like, well, I gotta play around a torrential. So you kind of play your cards around a torrential tribute, which back whenever torrential and mirror force were good, I did a lot of playtesting against myself with I know torrential and mirror force wasn't at 3, it was at 1, but I put 3 in the deck that I was playing against in the deck that I was playing that format, which is Black Wings. And I know that's not meta, but that was the deck. I just was solely set on that deck, and plus it special summoned a lot, and it kind of taught me that I don't want to special summon this many times because I have to play around torrential, and I don't want to attack this many times because I don't want to attack into a mirror force. And I was playing against the 3 torrential and 3 mirror force. That's what I had the most problem with, was I needed to learn how to read the torrentials and the mirror forces, and I was playing against myself, and I was learning how to play around it, and it made me a better player of how to do that. And but you can do things like that. Like if you're having a problem against a certain deck or anything at all, you know, even if the card's at 1, make a deck and put 3 cards in there. Just make a deck where there's just make E-Dragons again, the way they used to be, with every card legal, and play against that and learn how to beat it. Learn how to play around every card they had, because they had an out to everything. And that's another way that you can get good, is playing in those formats like that. Or even playing in Go Control format. You learn how to play around certain cards and saving your best cards for last. And all this stuff helps you get better at playing your deck, no matter what it is, just playing the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Itself in general. And I guess that was another video for another time, but I just basically did it right here and now. But anyways, guys, comment, like, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed. That's it.